Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm calling to order. Oh, we gotta. Good. Just one sec. Let me turn off the. There we go. Okay, I'm calling to order the July 15, 2025 meeting of the Southborough Select Board. The first item on our agenda is public comment, and it's an opportunity for residents to speak to an issue that's not on the agenda, and it's not intended as a back and forth, just an opportunity for people to offer comment, and we try to keep comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone here like to offer public comment? All right, seeing none, I'm going to advance one item on our agenda, and that's under the chair's report. The summer program special citation on behalf of the Recreation Department. I'd like to turn over to Travis Farley, our Recreation Director, and Christine McCarthy.
Well,
yes, please.
Can everybody hear me okay? Thank you very much for giving us some time at the beginning of the meeting. I know the agenda is jam-packed, so we appreciate you giving us a few minutes. For those watching at home, I'm Travis Farley. I'm the Recreation Director.
I'm Erin Navaroli, the Assistant Director and one of the supervisors at the summer program.
And I'm Christina McCarthy, the Program Coordinator.
Thank you. And today we wanted to highlight one of our fabulous seasonal staff workers. And I'm going to turn it over to Christina to tell her why we're highlighting her. She's done a great job managing our summer programs, and I'll let her talk about why we're honoring Erin.
Thank you. To the Southborough Select Board, on Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025, at approximately 10:30 a.m. during snack time at Southborough Recreation Summer Program, Assistant Supervisor Erin Navaroli was approached by a 6-year-old camper who was signaling that she was choking, hands on her throat and her face turning red. Without hesitation, Erin immediately sprang into action and began performing the Heimlich maneuver. Once the child began to cough, Erin followed up with back blows to help fully dislodge the obstruction. The camper, understandably frightened and in tears, was quickly comforted by Erin, who shifted seamlessly from emergency response to providing reassurance and emotional support, letting the child know she was safe. An incident report was promptly completed, and the child's parents were immediately notified by phone, who expressed their utmost appreciation. Southborough Recreation would like to formally commend Erin Navaroli for her swift, decisive, and life-saving actions. Her composure and compassion exemplify the highest standard of care, and we are incredibly fortunate to have her as a member of our team.
You want to say anything?
I'm just very fortunate that I was there. I'm really fortunate that the child knew the universal hand signal that she was choking and that she knew to tell someone. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, do you have anything else to?
No, we're very, very fortunate to have Erin. She's one of our many very fabulous seasonal staff workers. Christina's done a wonderful job with the training that she puts all of our seasonal staff to ensure campers having a very safe and fun summer. So we're very lucky to have seasonal staff and a excellent program coordinator.
Well, I have a son who's going to the camp in a couple of weeks, so it definitely makes you think. I mean, thank you so much for what you did. I was getting a little emotional even as you were just reading that. But so we have like to present you with this certificate. I'll read it. A bravery in action. The Southborough Select Board wishes to acknowledge Recreation Site Supervisor Erin Navaroli. We commend you for your swift and skilled response in performing the Heimlich maneuver on a choking camper on July 3rd, ensuring the child's safety and demonstrating exemplary preparedness and professionalism.
Hey, Andrew, can I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
So, as Aaron knows, I didn't know who you were. So I've got three grandnieces up here from Kentucky going
Yes.
to camp like
Yes.
last year. So I see you every morning and every afternoon. Always a smile on her face. Yours too, of course. So thank you so much. I didn't realize who you were until you walked in tonight. So I'm glad to now put the name with the face, but truly good job.
Thank you. Thank you. They're awesome. They're awesome.
Thank you very much. One more thing. Tomorrow is the start of our summer concert series. So 6 o'clock, Neary, free concert, Rampage Trio. Thank you, Friends of Southborough Recreation. They're providing free ice cream and Southborough Community Fund. So, and the following week, we have Stacy Peasley coming as well. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, 6 o'clock, Neary School, free concert for the rec.
All right.
All right.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like to come up?
Thank you.
Mimi, would you like to call your meeting to order?
I call the Southborough Planning Board meeting to order. Is Marnie online?
Yes, she is.
Is she going to be brought over? So we have Marnie on Zoom, Lisa Braccio, Debbie DeMaria, and myself are here in person. Thank you.
All right. So Atlantic Management is here to make a presentation regarding a proposed zoning bylaw that we've been asked to refer to the planning board to begin the public hearing process. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Buckley and Mr. Zink.
Thank
If
you
you could
very,
just introduce yourselves.
Yes, right.
Sure.
thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Robert Buckley, Raymond Bronstein. I have Joe Zink, the principal of Atlantic Management. Having to follow that is going to be difficult, so we'll do our best. How about that? And for the planning board, for the record, Robert Buckley, Raymond Bronstein, Joseph Zink, at Atlantic Management. Our goal tonight was to essentially address three issues: who we are, what we've done, and what we propose to do, as a way of introduction. So let me start by saying who we are. Atlantic Management, which I've had the privilege of representing on a number of major projects throughout Massachusetts, is probably one of the premier developers of taking property that heretofore may have seen its better days, turning it around and making it very productive very quickly. They have this unyielding passion of working with the community to make difficult situations appear solvable, and they have their track record, as I'll show you in a few minutes, attest to that success. One of their principal operating modes when we come into a community and work with the community is it's incumbent upon us to answer your questions. It's not, we're here to provide anything and everything you need to make an informed decision. So I would ask the select board, as well as the planning board when we're before them, as well as residents of the town, as we go forward, if you have questions or concerns or require additional information, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We'll have some contact information, but we'd like to continue the success that they have had over the years going forward in a fine town of Southborough. And as an aside, I think the statute of limitations has expired because I used to sneak on to St. Mark's Golf Course when I was a younger person. So no one's going to take me away. I grew up in this area. So can we throw something up or? Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Joe, this is your opportunity.
Yes. Atlantic Management was founded in 72, and it was always been a local company. And one of the things I think Bob was referring to is when you come to community, my father was a simple guy. He was in World War II when he was 17. He said he had 2 ears, 1 mouth, use it in proportion, you're gonna learn. So whenever you come to a community, we're gonna do a lot of listening and a lot of input, what's important to the community. So we currently now have roughly 6 million square feet that we own, manage. We've developed another 4 million square feet. As Bob said, we bought a lot of corporate campuses that have been older, tired, and where the uses have just kind of shifted away from them, and reposition them and reactivate them now to one, do quality development, but secondly, significant tax revenues to the community. Next slide, please.
Could I just make one comment on the team?
Yes.
I failed to introduce, we have my partners, Dennis McKenna and Christine Hung from the legal side, and we have the Atlantic team here that I think attests to the fact that this is important, even though it may be brief tonight as an introduction. Everyone felt that they had to be here so you could put a face with the project, so.
Next slide, please. So this is a project in neighboring Marlborough that was completely vacant. There was literally almost like tumbleweeds in the parking lot. And this was Data General. As we all know, 495 had a lot of tech companies where things just shifted. Hewlett-Packard ended up buying this. And then there was the Fidelity next door. So there was 1.5 million square feet of vacant office space at this off-ramp. It was just completely devastating. So we came in and bought this site. We were actually meeting with TJX to build them a new corporate headquarters here. We ended up introducing them to the city, and they ended up going to Fidelity. They took the Fidelity site next door, but we ended up redeveloping this. And today, between Quest Diagnostics and Cytiva, they have roughly 550,000 square feet. The apartments that are on site, daycare, and a hotel. The revenue went from I think it was 800,000 to 4.1 million, with an additional per year now, with an additional $4 million plus in building permit fees. And that was done on a relatively quick basis with a lot of input from the community. And similar to that, we worked within the community to do an overlay. So the zoning was something new that they hadn't done before. And it was kind of, they were nervous. And we always said, you have control. Every portion of this project, we need to come back to you to go to the next step. You need to improve it. And if we don't do what we say, then you can just hold us accountable.
Right.
And it ended up very successful.
I do remember the day, it was the day after Thanksgiving. We met with the mayor and some of his staff, and we outlined what we were thinking about doing, because we had spent the better part of 2 or 3 months trying to figure out what would work and what was needed for a project where you certainly no one was going to come and reoccupy the HP site. So what would work and revitalize the city? And I think the initial reaction was it was very complicated, and I think they wanted to take us out and hang us. But within 2 or 3 months, I've never seen a community bond and come together to everyone rolled up their sleeves. And within a period of 18 months, I think we had all the zoning put in place that really transformed an unproductive asset into a very productive asset. And what people fail to realize oftentimes is that it's the intangible. When you create something of value of Marlboro Hills, the surrounding properties also are increased in value, and it becomes a desirable place to, and I don't like the expression live, work, and play, but it becomes synergistic, and things start to take on a life of their own. And I can remember that the mayor would call us and say, when they were doing the Apex entertainment, can we bounce some ideas off you?
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the mayor also used an unofficial reference. There was a gas station and a barber shop nearby with 1.5 million square feet. The barber shop was down 40%, gas station was down 30%. And then when this got finished, they did the highest sales volumes than ever. So it does have that trickle effect. And you do need to activate these areas. Because activity kind of begets activity. That's what happened on this site. Next slide, please. And the next one is, excuse me, next slide, please, sorry. Oh, yeah, thank you. This site is Otis Street in Westboro. Similar to that, it was AstraZeneca site and was older, tired, obsolete. And they had a structured deal where they were paying very low real estate taxes. They were paying $258,000 a year in real estate taxes. We bought that site and it took us a couple of years. We went through some zoning at that, and then we ended up doing a deal with Amazon Robotics. This is now one of their most strategic sites in the country. In fact, Bezos, the entire board were here last fall, spent a full day here. And they're doing some of the most innovative technology in terms of delivery of products and other technology within the company. There's 3 buildings there now. We're possibly going to be expanding more, and the taxes now are $3.4 million a year, and that's without the middle building even being occupied and fully valued yet. So those taxes should soon be $4 million a year from $258,000. So a significant impact on the town, and also a lot of high quality jobs and people coming into the community. So I think our goal was to say in 2 abutting towns, we did quality projects with significant tax revenue, and in both cases worked closely with the community to find a good path to deliver these products.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to understand the topography, the issues that the land presented, and the benefits, the intangibles, proximity to the rail station, midway between Worcester and Boston. So you could bring talent out from both locations, and high-paying jobs in terms of technology, and established a foothold in this area that has become recognized. I was at a meeting the other day with the Lieutenant Governor, who, unbeknownst, without any prompting, cited this location as an example of how Massachusetts can lead in technology. But what we did before we went forward is we try to understand what the issues are in the community and what the desired approach would be. So, next slide.
Excellent. Thank you. And I think one of the things that was very helpful is the amount of time and effort that the community put into the master plan done in 2021. So it's one of the first things we did is our whole team read through that plan to understand the vision that the community has for its future. So that was a very helpful guide.
So if we could maybe next slide. This is there's this cover page for the master plan. I'll probably have to read it from here because I can't see that far. But in year 2022 or 2021, depending upon how you categorize it, master plan, there was a section that said the Route 9 corridor. Route 9 is an integral part of the community, making Southborough accessible to major thoroughfares which connect residents and businesses to other parts of Massachusetts and beyond. The high traffic area is the preferred focus of industry and commerce because of its easy transportation access and because it is relatively separated from residential areas of Southborough. That last sentence, I think, is important. And then next slide. We looked at some of the goals that were articulated in the master plan. Develop an economically strong, diverse, and self-sustaining business community, i.e. an economic engine along the Route 9 corridor. Recommendations: increase use intensity for currently underutilized property parcels. Increase commercial tax revenue by reducing office space vacancies and encouraging development on targeted high potential sites such as Dell Technologies. And finally, explore the opportunity in collaboration with the planning board to revise zoning regulations for Route 9 to allow for mixed-use development and taller buildings with the aim of reducing vacancy rates and providing expanded amenities to offices and residents. Now, certainly since 2021, things have changed in the world on a number of fronts, but I think the underlying policy objective remains the same. So we took that and we said, okay, can we develop a targeted approach to zoning on this corridor on the Dell site that addresses a number of needs that have been articulated and desirable for the community, while at the same time preserving the control of the relative boards so that they're the masters of their own destiny. So we spent the better part of a couple months just kicking ideas around, and we came up with a zoning template that essentially creates an additional use by special permit in your industrial park use zoning category where the Dell properties are located. But in the definition of that use, major highway retail, we articulated a number of controls. Location of the property, no impact on residential communities, the size, the mix of the product type that will be able to be sold in these types of facilities, so that we're responding to a perceived need in the community. So we tried to target it. It's not limited to solely the site, but it would be difficult to put together other sites that meet these criteria, and that's intentional, because you want to, with a potential size and use here, you want to make it difficult, and you want serious thought going into the implementation of a project. So we look forward to working with the town, particularly the planning board, because statutorily they have to make a recommendation to town meeting. But we think it is a well thought out and a plan that will, once implemented, will become our third addition to the next town that we go to and say, look what we did in Southborough. So any questions you have?
I don't really have any questions, because I think what we'd like to do is, after some back and forth, just to take a vote to refer it to the planning board to
Right.
begin the public hearing
Yeah.
process. But I like what you said about, well, just 2 points. One, we have an acute need to start to improve our commercial tax base in Southborough, and this meets that need. That's one of the perceived needs. And there's also, I've now lived in the town for 13 years, and just, you always have to drive a considerable distance just to buy groceries, and there's not really it's not a great thing. If you can make that more convenient, that saves some valuable time repeated over and over. And
It's
over
also
again.
environmentally correct to do that too, so instead of driving around.
So, why don't we just go down? Marguerite, do you have any questions, comments?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
So I just want to thank you guys for coming tonight and tell you how welcome it is to have this type of presentation, and how, as you know, sorely we need this in this town. We've got a pretty much total residential tax base at this point. It keeps going the wrong way and placing a very big burden on our houses. We had our presentation last night by our Affordable House Trust, where they have presented a new housing production plan. And in it was a slide that says that 30% of people in this town don't have enough income to afford to stay in their houses, to pay the housing cost. I mean, 30% in a town. Southborough is sort of known as being wealthy, and it's really not. And so this is such welcome news. I think the projects you've done in Westboro and Marlboro are so impressive. I hope that this board will totally support anything that we have a role in, and anything you need, just let us know.
And we encourage you to check out, we picked local projects so that you have the opportunity to reach out to those communities and you can verify what we've said.
Mm.
There have been other major projects that they've done that have a similar result.
So thank you.
The opportunity for the tax increase is very interesting and appealing. So right now I have no questions though about the presentation.
Welcome to Southborough.
I've been here before.
Yeah, okay. It's no secret. We've talked about, the shifting of the residential tax burden. It's particularly hitting our senior community hard. I've gotten an earful on a few occasions. And the only way that we can shift our tax burden, we have historically been at about 80-20 commercial, residential, commercial, and we've been headed in the wrong direction for the last 7 or 8 years. And the only way we can do that is by welcoming new businesses into town. And this is certainly a substantial opportunity. I don't think you've asked for enough, but we'll deal with that later. So I'm in favor.
Thank you. I think one of the challenges, and we hear this from a lot of communities, is if you took an office building 5 years ago and the value it and the value today, it's gone down. The homes have gone up.
Yep.
So some of these communities were in that 80-20, 75-25. They're all fighting the same thing. And the only way to offset that is bring in quality commercial development. And it's going to be development that's needed today. That's not, the office thing is just shifting. Some of the office vacancy rates are crazy, and then the rates, unfortunately, just keep going lower. And the work from home, there's so many things that have occurred. We don't see that changing anytime in the near future, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the trick right now, and I think what this team brings to the table is difficult times require you to adopt a different approach. So we're not afraid to look at things differently and come up with some ideas that are not the usual ideas that you would see, because that you need solutions that are reactive and proactive to very dynamic conditions in the economy right now. And you have a very unique opportunity where you have a blank canvas along Route 9 there. And early on, we've tried to understand what the objectives are. And as I said, it's our responsibility as we go through this process with the planning board and other concerned residents to provide the answers and to provide the vision that we think can be effectuated.
And just to make clear, one of the things you're asking us to do is to put it on the warrant for the town meeting.
It's a town meeting vote.
We had originally targeted November 3rd for the special town meeting, but I think it's on our agenda to consider moving it up to October 20th.
Either date's fine with us.
Okay. So, is there anything you'd like to add before we turn it over to the planning board?
Oh, good.
Thank you.
My only comment on the planning board, if I could ask the planning board, because we're going to be before them in a public hearing, that we keep the discussion at a high level now so that we don't run the risk of having a warrant article analyzed before it's been published and whatever. So,
Fair enough. Mimi?
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for mentioning the master plan. 3 of us on the planning board had a hand in that, and it was totally written by volunteers with a very small grant. So that was,
It was very well done.
thank you. Ms. Houlihan, do you have any questions?
No, I'll reserve mine for a public hearing. Thank you.
Any high-level questions, Mr. Murray? Yeah, so thank you. We look forward to seeing you before the planning board, and we'll ask all the nerdy zoning questions then. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. So with that, I'd like to move that the select board refer Atlantic Management's proposed zoning bylaw to the planning board.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
Thank you for your time and
Thank you.
consideration, and enjoy the rest of the summer.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for making the trip in, the whole gang.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is the interview and appointment of Keith Ackley for the Tricentennial Committee.
That would be me. You need to,
Yeah, please come up.
all right. Here?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Maybe a little more time before we. Oh, Mimi, do you need to adjourn your meeting?
Bye, Christine.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn, Marnie?
She's already adjourned.
Is she already gone? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, Latrell, yes? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Well, hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Keith Ackley, 2 Reservoir Drive. Although I'm originally from Northborough, I've been a Southborough resident for the last 32 years. And I know a number of people that are on the Tricentennial Committee. A couple of them approached me about helping out with putting on some kind of a music festival, which I offered my assistance, and then got recruited to say, would you be kind enough to maybe lead it, because they needed some additional help. So, of course, I said yes. And I guess the process would be to go get appointed to the committee by the select board. And then I think tomorrow night is a meeting of the Tricentennial Committee where I'm pretty sure I'll pass.
Well, I'm the select board representative to the Tricentennial
Okay.
Committee, and we'd love to have you on board. Al, you have any questions?
No, thank you for volunteering.
All right.
I have no questions. Thanks.
All right. Yes. Oh,
So what's the music background that is so interesting here?
so in terms of music background, I do not have a strong music background.
That's the part you want to, that's the part that interests you as far as what they want?
I'm interested, that's what they needed as well, but I have been, organizational skills, I think, are probably something that I'm stronger at than necessarily music. I've run a number of events. I used to run for a number of years Southborough Little League, putting on opening day, which I don't even know if is a big thing these days, but we had it one of the second biggest thing in town when we were doing it. So I think my background is in finance and operations. I do like getting involved in events, and my thoughts were to perhaps approach a number of bands and musical groups that have a connection to the town, find a venue that would accommodate a kind of a community event with, everybody in the family could come and enjoy a day out. May have to talk to the recreation department to get some of their experience on putting on summer nights. But I have not had a chance to talk to the Tricentennial Committee to see what thoughts have been going around with them in terms of what they'd like to see. But once again, my background, Kathy, is not really like as a music promoter or organizer, but I do have some connections to a number of performers.
Well, what I was most interested in, though, this is such a name from the past, parametric technology.
Oh,
I hadn't thought about them in a long, long time. So that was a name from the past as far as something that.
oh, you're a parametric?
No, I was an accountant at Ernst & Young, and
Oh.
so they were a client. So I just hadn't thought about them. Oh,
No.
very good client, very, very good operation. So-
Most of my background's been in technology for quite a few years, so.
Well, it's a good committee, so I think you'll enjoy, everybody that's on it. Andrew's on it, as said, so and I think they're doing a lot. I'm part of the fundraising piece of it. So we've got a 501c3 that's been formed to basically hold the money, help raise the money, and then give out grants when you guys have places to spend the money. So that's my connection. So two of us are connected to it directly.
Terrific, terrific. And I'm very familiar with a few of the other members. Once again, they approached me and I said, I'm happy to help.
Okay.
So, any other questions? Anything I can answer for you?
Marguerite?
This is the resume of a person who makes things happen. So
Well, thank you.
All
I
right.
think that may be why they approached me, because
Okay, I move that we appoint Keith Ackley to the Tricentennial Committee for a term to expire June 30, 2026. All those in favor? All right, well, thank you for stepping forward, and are you available tomorrow?
yes, I am planning on attending the meeting tomorrow, which I
I'll
think
see you
is over
tomorrow.
at the Public Safety Building.
So Andrew, remind him to get appointed or sworn in tomorrow, right?
Did he get sworn in? Oh, okay. Well, I'll see if,
You need about 3 minutes.
yeah, well, I know I was sworn in I'm on the Board of Registrars as well, and I know the process there. So
Okay.
What time is your meeting tomorrow?
6:30, right?
So you have to come before then.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. I look forward to working on the committee.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is interdepartmental and or reserve fund transfers. We had scheduled this as a joint committee with the advisory committee. And then once the information was circulated about what the level of interdepartmental transfers were, they're so small that I spoke with Andrew Pfaff, the advisory committee chair, and there's no need to have a joint meeting for about this. So, but Kathy, do you want to speak to the significance of the?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. This is, again, another compliment to our accounting department, Carla and. So Carla's here. So Carla, can you hear me? I hope so, because I'm trying to give you rave reviews here. But the $60 million budget, and this is $2,000, and this is not even over, but this is moving around a little bit between departments. That's all we're doing. Not a penny reserve fund transfer, so that's going to be returned to free cash. So, I mean, this is just truly worthy of note that they've come through with this. I mean, again, Carla watches things so closely. So does Brian. So this is just a result of the excellent people we have in that department.
So the only departments that were over were moderator, $20, asset assessment, $191 in recreation, $2,055. So that's pretty impressive to have things stay within each department at that level. Yes.
I think it's a good
Yep.
report, easy to do, understand. I think this is one of those things that we could authorize the town administrator to take care of up to some reasonable limit so that it didn't, we need to look at things we can offload this board and put onto, a capable team. So I
agree.
it's a subject for another meeting, but I think, these are examples of things that we should offload from our agenda.
Reserve fund's a little bit different.
We have nothing to do with
Nothing but
reserve.
an interdepartment. I totally agree with you. As far as having some de minimis to look at here. I mean, this is nothing.
Yeah, but good job.
Okay, Carla?
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for the kudos. I want to give credit where credit is due as well with the department heads. They do a terrific job as well. And I think they should be commended too for having a really great year. This is not where we intended on landing, but it's a great story. And talking about Al kind of offloading this mundane detail, it feels like. Actually, this is another Mass General Law requirement. We need both the advisory and the BOS to vote on these transfers. And they have to happen at the end of the year before the 15th. So we're hitting the mark, and that's wonderful. So thank you again.
All right, so I move that the board approve the interdepartmental budget transfers as reflected in our packet.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you. The chair's report, we already took care of at the beginning of the meeting. So Marguerite, I think that first member's report is yours.
All right. My members' report is a building department discussion. I think we mentioned last meeting and possibly the meeting before that the building department is in transition right now. We've had 2 commissioners. We have Kelly O'Brien here today, who is the admin from heaven. And I think I've been talking to people, and Vanessa also had mentioned that that you and Mark were in conversation with towns around here to see if there were gaps in because the bottom line is that in the state of Massachusetts, there's so many towns and there's about 40 less building commissioners. So this is either you're going to poach somebody or patch it together, or there needs to be a serious look taken at what the building department can do.
You're saying there's 40 vacancies right now? Is that what we're saying? It wouldn't surprise me, maybe more.
130, yeah.
I don't know the current amount right now, but
It's high.
there's been quite a bit of turnover in that.
If it isn't 40, it's 30, but either way, it's a lot. And I think Jean Novak mentioned that, why would somebody be a building commissioner when they could use the same skill set to make a lot of money building? I mean, why would you want to do that? So I guess, so part of the things of needing to look at the salaries, needing to talk some more with the people who are in the building department now, needing to talk to other towns in the region to see if there's any gaps they have we can fill, or gaps we have that they can fill. So it's still ongoing discussion. And I was very grateful to Kelly for having an hour of conversation with me a couple of days ago, where I got to understand the workflow. And Jean also had a suggestion for a piece of software that might help with the workflow too. And Laura's on the same page with that. But anyway, so if anyone has questions about the building department, now's the time to ask them. So you've got my email. Thank you.
All right, thanks. And then Al, I think you have the next two members' reports.
Yes, I have two. I met with Melanie, Jim, and Mark, and the subject was trying to create a public meeting scheduling app to see if we couldn't automate a process in town. When we started digging down into it, it looked like there were some building blocks that would need to be done first. The first of which is a meeting room app. Today, we don't have a single place where you can go to schedule meeting rooms. There are some that are available through Outlook, and then others that have to be accessed by a phone call or some other process. And so we're starting to look at having a single place where you can go to schedule a meeting room. That's common in every company of any size that I've ever worked at has one meeting room app. And I think we ought to do that. And the second one is an app to essentially help people fill out agendas. It turns out that the clerk's office spends a fair amount of time going back and forth with agendas that come in which don't meet the letter of the law, or it have some form of a defect. And having a simple app that you could simply click buttons and pull down menus, and you could automatically get a compliant agenda, which is, I guess, becoming increasingly difficult to comply with thanks to the state. And so that's the second building block. And so we're continuing to poke away at that and begin the process of gathering requirements. The second item I have is, as you know, the wastewater committee has been looking at potential sites for treated effluent discharge. And, one of the sites that we considered, at least took a look at and had discussions with the Conservation Commission, was the golf course, and using treated effluent both for irrigation and potentially a disposal system that wouldn't impact the surface. SVT, Sudbury Valley Trustees, holds the conservation restriction on that. And we got a response from them that was, I would describe it as not enthusiastic. It's in the packet. It's disappointing. I think this is a cautionary tale about writing these sorts of instruments with such draconian prohibitions. We ought to, in the future, if we do something like this, maintain the greatest amount of flexibility possible. As a personal aside, I think it's arrogant to try for one generation to try and impose its views on another, but that's a different soapbox for me to stand on. So those are my two reports.
Okay, and I'll just add one quickly, that Al and I are meeting with Jay Tallerman tomorrow morning to get town council's perspective on the streamlining article that we had talked about. And consent agenda item C, the reauthorizing the board and committee members who we approved and then did get swear in within the, that's another thing we should probably talk to him about. I mean, do we really need to have a certain level of board and committee, like for the tricentennial committee, do I really need to go to the town clerk and in person be sworn in? If that's a requirement that can be relaxed. I think
Yeah,
we should.
I spoke with the town clerk on exactly the same subject because of the silliness.
All right.
And
In the-
he's also looking at this.
So
Good.
as we can talk with Jay about that
Yeah.
tomorrow too. Okay,
Can I just add back to Marguerite's report on in what I guess she and Kelly talked about the software that
yep,
Jean is recommending, that should be in your court as far as looking at that. If that's something that really can make the process down there more efficient, that's what Andrew and Al are trying to do, Kelly, this year, is find ways to streamline our already very efficient town government.
okay. Vanessa, you have anything under town administrator's
Just
report?
a couple of quick announcements. Just wanted to welcome Laura West, who was our new program manager in the Council on Aging. She started yesterday. We're very happy she came back today and she's off to a running start. Also want to welcome back Melissa Danza, who's been out on maternity leave at the birth of her first son. So now she's back to work too, which we're really excited about. And also let the board know that the town moderator last week appointed Brian Shea to the Personnel Board. So we now have a 5-member Personnel Board again. So
Interesting.
yes.
Okay, so on the consent agenda, I'm gonna hold the June 17, 2025 open session meeting minutes. Are there any other holds?
July 1st too.
Okay. Anyone have any holds on B, C, or D? Okay, seeing none, I move that the board approve consent agenda items B, C, and D. All those in favor? All right, on the 17th, got a quick edit. On line 46. And this is on the discussion about 66 Oak Hill Road. About something I said, I suggested the petitioners could seek acceptance of the access road as a public way, not as a town road. That's the only edit I have to that. You do? Okay.
If you go down to line 50, it's town council with
That's right.
SEL.
Okay.
Got it.
Yep, spelling
It too.
mistakes.
It's okay.
And that's it.
Okay, so the only other one I have besides that one is, I got two. Okay, so line 54, Heritage Day instead of days. It could be days, it'd be fun. 172, Mr. Dennington, it was Mr. Dennington and Miss Landry did August 12th.
Yes, thank you.
Excuse me, did July 8th. Yeah, July 8th, Mr. Dennington and Marguerite Landry. And that's it for me.
Any other edits to the minutes? I move that the board approve the open session meeting minutes for June 17 and July 1st as amended.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. We're moving pretty quickly through this.
Oh, wait, are you doing July 1st?
I thought we just,
Sorry, I wouldn't listen, Andrew.
Okay.
This,
all right, so.
now this really is ridiculous, the one I'm going to do. Okay, so, Marguerite, on line 18, you'll appreciate it. B4 is one word. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, Andrew.
Slide.
Oh, sorry, Andrew.
Okay, I move that we make that amendment to the July 1st meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. All right, under other matters, we had identified November 3rd, 6:30 PM as our fall town meeting date. Then we found out there was a conflict that we didn't know about. So, I had, we've talked to the town council, town clerk, and town moderator. They're all available for the 27th. We considered moving it up or moving it back. Also, reached out to the planning board about what their preference is because they also have several zoning articles that they anticipate are going to be on the fall town meeting warrant. So, I'd like to have the board consider moving up the fall town meeting date to Monday, October 27th, same time, 6:30.
It's 6 days, right? It's a 6-day difference from what we had.
I think it's.
It's a week.
It's a week.
There's 31 days in October.
All right, any discussion? Okay, I move that, we move up the fall special town meeting to Monday, October 27 at 6:30 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
And this is an example of what Al was talking about, where, again, the right didn't know what the left was doing. So the room, the charter got double booked because you had different people keeping track of it. So there you go, Al. Get this taken care of so that it's all one place.
Yep. Okay, Al, maybe I'll hand it over to you for the NERI survey.
We have a NERI survey that's basically ready to go. A copy is in the packet. The one issue we have is I've had several people reach out to me and want to make sure that we have a plan to address access, particularly to our senior community that may not have access to a computer. I've met with Hassan, and we can put a computer that would permit access in the senior center, and they're willing to do that. I met with Peg at the senior center, and she can generate a list, a mailing list, since we can't try to reach these folks via the internet. She can generate a mailing list of 600 or so seniors that we could send a postcard out to inform them how they can participate if they don't have access to electronics in their home. And so it would require a postcard of some sort that we would send out. My guess is that the cost of this would be less than $1,500. I would propose that we fund that with some of the funds that are left from the NERI appropriation, since this, I think, is reasonably coincident. And
I don't think Carla's going to agree with you because we've had some other things that could have been used money, but if you look at the wording in that Warren article, I don't think it's going to work. But I don't think it's $1,500 either.
I was being,
less.
yeah, it was probably less, but I think.
You can ask her, but I think she's going to say does.
Okay, well,
The four corners.
we would need some sum of money that's on that order to do this. I think this is important. There is a concept in survey research called non-response bias. I think there is anecdotal evidence that a significant portion of the senior community has strong opinions on the subject. And if we don't reach out to include them, we risk introducing that type of bias. And so I'm happy to work with the town administrator to find a pocket that we can generate that sum of money.
Can you get the postcard done quickly?
Yeah, I would like to get this done quickly. I'd like to get the survey out, before the end of the month. And if not sooner, I think this is something we can do pretty quickly. The survey would probably be active for something on the order of 3 weeks. So, it does not, the day we mail it out, we could open the survey or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think, so the content of the survey, I read the questions. I think they're all pretty straightforward. And are we all okay as a board with the
As
question?
long as I just want the assurance that Al, Matt, and Laura agreed on what we've got in front of us.
We have never actually met in total, but I believe the answer is yes.
Okay. I just want to get it out.
I did too.
ASAP.
It has K through 8. It should just say pre-K through 8 for a bunch of this. It's my one, I think, only really big comment.
And Al, I think that the evidence that the seniors were very interested in the school project is not anecdotal, it's a fact. A couple times I went to senior center to talk about the project, and I know there was a couple people that were, irritated that some of the upcoming presentations by the committee or the finance subcommittee were going to be by Zoom. And I know person said a couple times, not everybody does Zoom. So I said, I understand. So we'll try to see what, it's also, we had some in-person ones, so we're going to do them in person, then we're going to do them Zoom. But I do think this is the right thing to do to make sure that everybody that wants to has a chance to respond.
Well, we can take it up afterwards, but I want to like try to just get this out, at least the electronic aspect of the survey, or because I think that's where the majority of the responses are going to come, to have that, get that out as soon as possible, because, you know, time is ticking. Like you look at our next meeting's not until August 19th, and then the meeting after that is, we only have one meeting in August, so.
Yeah. Well, given that the board has approved the content of this survey, I'll work with Matt and company to move this along as expeditiously as possible.
Okay,
Are there,
great.
can I ask a quick question? Are there going to be hard copies of these available at the senior center, at the library, at the townhouse?
That's not what he's saying so far.
Well, the response is planned to be electronic.
Totally electronic, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why, but making the device available at the senior center, you know, would give people who don't have access to technology in their home at least a place where they could go and respond.
We've got someone sitting here that is well attuned to what people at senior center need. So Marion, is this going to work? Do we need to give them hard copies also that we get input?
Well, I think.
Yeah,
I think a couple things. One, that you're going to make the laptop available. The second thing is could there somehow be someone there to help them along with it? Because sometimes it's not just the access to the internet, but you know, how you go about getting everything up and answering the questions. And we do have our program manager on now, so she may be able to fill in. We also have a volunteer coordinator, so maybe they can fill in, and a few others that, you know, we can be there and help them through that too.
So if Hassan actually trained both of them and just, I mean, I don't think they're going to need much training. That should suffice as far as making sure someone's there to answer questions if someone runs into an issue.
Sure. I think it's just maybe pulling up the survey and making sure they know how to click through it. You know, sometimes it's as simple as that, that we can do, but you know, so I think that will work.
Okay.
And I want to thank Al for considering that.
Thank you. Tim?
Tim Litwood Road. I think, you know, trying to get a mailing list through the Council on Aging is a reasonable thing to do. But if you want to reach everyone, get the list from the town clerk. That has every person, their address, and you can compute the age in 2 clicks.
I have 2 comments. Al, question 27 and 28 as options. Is that, I don't want to get super nitty gritty because I'm sure you put a lot of thought into this, but is there a way to like select, can you split it into 2 parts so you can select A through whatever so it relates and then have the response after that? Just for easier answering and ensuring you get a question or a number to relate to.
The library has done a lot of surveys and they've tried hard copies and electronic and a lot of different ways to do it. And the number of surveys that come back is very small. We did surveys for building. What do you want for building? What do you want for this? What do you want the library to be providing to you? And the number that come back is under 200.
My one other question would be, Al, have you thought about including the potential cost of a project in this for support? I know we discussed that at one point. I don't know how you felt after thinking about it longer.
I don't know that we have numbers that are universally accepted.
I don't know if it's worth asking or not. It's one of those things, like, I don't know if we wanted to bring a potential.
But certainly there are questions in the survey about whether cost was an objective, an objection.
So I think, there's a danger of too much
Yeah,
wordsmithing.
just
Too many authors.
Yeah.
My position was that the survey was too long as it is.
As we know, you answer a survey that's short, right? And when you see it's long, you just won't do it. So I agree, let's not muck it up, anymore. I don't think you can do the cost pieces. It's too complicated. So there's enough cost in here as far as was cost your concern. I think that's probably the generic thing we're looking for versus would you want to spend 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10? So I'm happy with what you got in here as far as cost goes.
So just for some clarity, I think it makes sense for us to take a vote. So
I agree.
I move that the board approve the NERI survey that's in our packet.
Second.
All those in favor? Those opposed? Tim, did you?
I mean, no, I was gonna, my only comment was the thing that I asked Al to write down was looking at question 27, 28 a little bit. So it's not that I'm against it, it's just like in the spirit of what's in the packet, I agree with. I just would like to maybe one last read through. I'd like to give Al the opportunity for one last wordsmithing if he decides to change it versus saying what's in the packet.
Yeah, if there's some minor wordsmithing that's done to that, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
then,
well, I'll take Scribner's limit, license.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What is it you want to do, Tim, to 27?
If you read 27 and 28, they just have two answers and one question. And it's like, if you have any that you don't support, there's not an easy way to say A, B, C, D, E, G, whatever. There's no way to say that and then put your comments for why after. I just want to make sure that it's easy for people to answer where they put in a letter or whatever the number would be, the letter would be, and then comments along with it. Just really a Scribner's thing more than anything.
You want the box to be bigger, is what you're saying?
It might be two parts.
Okay, so you
So it
want
might-
them,
it might
it's
be-
not like you want them to say A, B, and C. You still want one answer.
I'm not saying how it should be exactly implemented. I see it as, do you have one of these options you don't like, A, B, C, D, E, F as a multiple choice? And then why? It's just, two parts. But if we can just say with Scribner's opportunity, I'm all for
Taken
it.
care of. Okay. So I think we took
I
our,
think I know what you want.
Yeah.
I'll
we're all,
But just be clear, there's two other people that have done this, so I don't think we should make changes without them at least understanding what we've done. So I would be very cautious about making any changes at this point, given we think we've got three people who we authorized to do this, that have come forth with this. So if we want to propose a change, I think it should be made public and the other two get to weigh in on it, but I still want to get this thing out the
we
door
just
too.
gotta get this.
I agree.
Okay. So we've taken the vote.
Okay.
Okay.
And we've also authorized Al to sit down, and figure out how to fund it, postcard, and get the postcard written out the door too.
Yep. And I
That's all.
was just having a sidebar with Vanessa, and she said,
We can find it.
yeah, within the select board postage budget, if you can't get it from the,
I thought that
All right.
budget was overdrawn already.
Or we're in a new year.
it's July 15th. Hopefully it's not overdrawn.
Okay,
Okay, the last,
yep.
all right, the last item on the agenda is to.
I wish I could take credit, but I don't get most of it. Lynn and Matt get most of the credit for this.
They've done an outstanding job.
Yep.
Okay, so last item on the agenda is to appoint the advisory committee representative to the pre-K 8 school building committee. And because they were meeting about this tonight, so Andrew Pfaff texted me that they voted to appoint Eric Glazer as the advisory committee representative. So is there any, I move that we appoint Mr. Glazer as the advisory committee representative.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. So
This could be a record.
this has been the fastest select board meeting in probably a year and a half. So with that, our next meeting is not until August 19th.
This was an important meeting.
It was an important meeting. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?